Let's talk next to Peter Wells, the director of the Centre for Automotive Industry at Cardiff University. Peter, welcome back. Given the stalling of the EV industry in many parts of the world, isn't it rather brave to confidently forecast that this is the road ahead?
Well, it's, as you say, quite a daunting prospect and quite an ambitious prospect. I think there's so much interest and indeed hype around artificial intelligence at the moment, and that's driving this interest in many sectors, including automotive. There will be a huge impact, but perhaps it won't be quite as catastrophic or quite as dramatic as is currently being portrayed.
Our correspondent Michael was suggesting that many of these AI features are not too far away, but taking a back seat to drive you to work is miles off, isn't it?
It's quite a long way off yet, and don't forget, it's one thing to put these systems into a new car, it's another thing entirely to have the entire fleet of all cars in use having all of these systems on board, and that will take a very long time indeed. But also, think about this a little bit. If you've got a car fully running autonomously in this way, that car will obey every single traffic law there is. Now ask yourself, how often does that actually occur in real life when people are driving those cars? And I think you begin to see some of the issues here, because we take a lot of liberties as drivers around the strict interpretation of driving laws, things like speeding, things like parking, things like where we can go at junctions and so forth. If everybody had to obey all the rules, we would be a lot safer for sure, but the culture of driving would have to change quite significantly.
Peter, you sound like a man who jumps red lights, but it's a serious point, isn't it? Regulation hasn't caught up with the tech, has it? I mean, who is in charge when AI is driving?
Well, this is also a problem. There's also a technical issue. Do you have the intelligence and the processing capability inside the car, or do you essentially rely on being able to communicate with the cloud systems outside the car? And, you know, as one of the advantages of the Chinese approach to artificial intelligence has been that it's less power intensive, it's less resource intensive, there's more scope to put it on the car, in which case the liabilities and all of the legal issues and all of the structures around that are much more focused on the car and the driver and the owner, and less on the infrastructure and the rest of the system.
Peter, good to talk to you. Thanks for coming back on the programme. Peter Wells, Director of the Centre for Automotive Industry at Cardiff University.